Hi guys, my name is Cyan Gore and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is an exciting video because we are doing a 24-hour readathon where I'm going to try to stay up and read for 24 hours straight. I usually split this up in between 2 days, 12 hours one day and 12 hours the next, but I thought it'd be fun to try and do it for 24 hours straight. I think I've only done that one other time, but I love 24-hour reading vlogs. I think they are so much fun. So that's what we're doing. We are also using the timer method at the same time, to where I will be timing myself reading, and anytime I stop for any reason whatsoever, I will pause the timer as well. So I'm going to be mood reading. I don't really know what I want to start off with. I just know that I'm in the mood to read and sit and rot all day. So this shall be fun. It is currently July 20th. You literally can't see anything. It is July 20th. It's 8:07 a.m. and my plan is to start at 8:10. So I'm going to get comfy, pick out my first read, and we will see what happens. Hello everyone, so it is currently 10:06 and we have 22 hours and 9 minutes left. Can you even see that? You're just gonna have to trust me on this one. But I have made it to page 175, chapter 23 in Flock. In this book we are following Cecilia. She just graduated high school, so she goes to live with her dad, who was pretty much absent her whole life, but he is super rich, owns this huge company, and she's going to go and work there over the summer. While she's working there, she meets Sean, who is very much golden retriever vibes. They hit it off immediately, start hanging out, and through him she's also met his friend Dominic. I think it's Dominic. She meets him and he is the opposite of Sean. He is very black cat, moody, a little bit mysterious, and he does not like her whatsoever. It kind of feels like maybe he's jealous, and I have a feeling there's going to be like a love triangle thing going on in here. So I don't know. I don't love love triangles, but besides that, I don't really know where the plot is gonna go. It also seems like these two are part of a group of some sort, like maybe a gang or something. Like it's alluded to the fact that they hang out with these people and it's very mysterious and they could be dangerous and they don't like her father. But I'm a little confused still because it's just alluding. Like it doesn't tell you straight up. So Cecilia's confused, I'm confused, we're all confused. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm not hating it. I'm just confused. And this is our first book, so we're not off to the greatest start. But I'm gonna keep reading. Literally what you're not seeing is that my dogs will sleep while I'm reading, and then the second I come to film they start playing with each other, which is really annoying. So I'm sorry if you hear them throughout the video, like every single time I'm speaking. But it is currently 12:22 and we have 20 hours and 10 minutes left. So it took me around 4 hours to finish Flock. And I want to start off by saying that this is completely opposite from what I thought it was. It is not a love triangle. It is a why choose. I will say that there's only one scene that involves all three of them, and the rest of them are just her separately with each guy, which I think I prefer. I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of when there's a lot going on in a smut scene. If it is your thing, like, no big deal, but that's just not my personal preference. I personally have not read a wide shoe, so this is the very first one. I don't mind it. I'm not someone who would share in real life, but in this, the way they did it was very mature. Like, the boys don't get jealous of one another. She is free to split her time between the two of them, and they literally do not care. Like, they're just like, okay, cool. So that was interesting. The plot, though, it didn't really develop until the very end. There was like a plot twist, so it does leave on a cliffhanger at the very end. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like super intrigued to the point where I feel like I need to get the second one right now. I'm kind of feeling some mixed emotions about it. Like, is this just a romance, or in the second and third one does the plot kind of thicken, because it feels like it could. But for this one, it wasn't bad. I think though I am going to give it a 3 star. So that is that. Okay, so it is now 3:07 and we have 17 hours left, and I have made it halfway through Lightlark. So in this book there is an island, and basically there's like a curse going on. I'm not going to tell you what the curse is, but in order to fix this curse, all of the rulers of the different realms go to this island. The island disappears every 100 years. Yeah, for every 100 years. No, the island disappears, and then every 100 years it reappears for 100 days, and all of the rulers of the realms come together, stay on this island, and they're trying to solve like this prophecy in order to fix this curse. The thing is that it is described as like a deadly island where they have a game, but it doesn't feel like they're really having any type of games, these rulers. It just feels like they're trying to figure out this prophecy and like doing these small little side quests. It's not like they're thrown onto this island and competing and trying to kill one another, which is what I was expecting. It's what I wanted, if I'm being honest, but it's just a lot of plotting and strategizing so far. Anyways, our main character is Isla. She's one of the rulers of one of the kingdoms. She's a wildling, so her kingdom is very like earthy, all these plants and animals and stuff like that. But the thing is that she actually has no powers like the other rulers do, but she is lying and faking because no one knows that she has no powers, and that is very deadly for her. And yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's not my favorite fantasy. It feels a little bit juvenile, and I know this is like really nitpicking, but it's just because of the names. Like, Isla is a wildling because they're very like out in the wilderness. That's what her realm that's what her realm looks like. Why am I having trouble speaking? But anyways, and then there's like the starlings and the sunlings, and that just, it's like you couldn't have come up with a better name. I know I'm nitpicking, okay? But that's just something that I noticed while reading it, and it kind of made me giggle because I was like, really? That's what you went with? But anyways, I'm gonna keep reading. My thoughts so far is that I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. So there's not much else I can say, really. So it is now 6 p.m. and we have 14 hours and 46 minutes left, and I officially finished Lightlark. I'm gonna be so honest, this book wasn't bad at all. Like I said earlier, it just felt a little bit juvenile, and there was like a plot twist that I could literally see coming from a mile away. There's like this grand reveal, and some things just didn't make sense. I don't want to harp on it too much in case you haven't read this book, but things surrounding the prophecy and the sacrifice that these rulers thought that they had to make, just, I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb, but to me it didn't all make sense. So yeah, that is that. There is a little bit of like a love triangle. I still don't know where that's going, maybe in the other books, because I know it's a series. I think there's gonna be 3, maybe more books. Maybe that gets more deep into that. But for now, I don't know. I'm going to give it a 3-star, another 3-star for the video. We're starting off strong just because it wasn't great, didn't love it, and I feel like it didn't wow me. I've just read so many better books, and this one was long. Yeah, the font, I mean, it's not actually that big. It's like average size font too. So it was just too long for what it was. I felt like it kind of moved slow, and there were some things that could have definitely been left out. I also don't 100% love the characters in here. Like I said, there is a bit of a love triangle, and like I don't care who she ends up with, if I'm being honest. So those are my thoughts. Let me know if this series gets better. But now that it is like 6 p.m., I'm actually going to take a bit of a break because I did order DoorDash. I'm not cooking today, and I got Wingstop, and I really just want to eat it. So I'm gonna chow down and take a break, and then I'll be back. Okay, so we have officially made it through the halfway point, and it is 9:52, so we are definitely a little bit behind schedule, but I am halfway through So Not Meant to Be by Megan Quinn. This is the second book in a series, and this is about JP, who is kind of like bye. And in this book, we are following JP. He is the brother of the main character from the first book. And then we are also following Kelsey, who is the sister of the main character from the first book. So, like, I know they're not related. It's just by, like, marriage. But to me, that dynamic is still weird. Like, I wouldn't like it if my sister started dating my husband's brother. That would just feel a little weird to me. But that's besides the point. JP is kind of like a player, right? He doesn't take dating seriously. But Kelsey, however, really wants her happily ever after. They work with each other, and they end up going on a work trip where now they will be living together for I don't even know how long. Doesn't really matter. They're going to be staying together in this penthouse, living together, working together, and JP clearly is in love with Kelsey, but she does not take him seriously. But he keeps telling her how like much he wants to date her, and she's just like, no, you're a player, not gonna do it. And his internal monologue is so whiny because she won't give him a chance, and it's kind of like, well, maybe she's not taking you seriously because you've never acted seriously. Maybe that is why she doesn't want to date you. Have you ever thought about that? But I will say it's not bad. It's going by pretty fast. I am not hating it. I feel like that's a common occurrence of this video so far. The thing is, okay, I have reached the halfway point. Only halfway. And I feel like I've been reading for an eternity. I am also getting very tired because normally I am already showered and in bed by 9 p.m. So I might have been a little overly ambitious when I said that I was going to try to do this 24 hours consecutively. And I think I'm just going to stick to my roots and split this up in between 2 days, 12 hours today, 12 hours tomorrow. That's just like the best option for me right now because I'm literally so sleepy that the words on the page are blurring, and I just feel like it's not fair to the authors of the books that I'm going to read if I am literally almost like belligerent while trying to read their books. Like, I'm not going to give them a fair rating. So I am going to call it a night, and we will meet back up in the morning with a fresh new start so that hopefully things will be better. Good morning, everyone. It is the next day. I feel so good this morning. I got my sleep in, woke up, got ready, had my breakfast, and I'm ready to read for another 12 hours today. And of course, we're picking up where we left off yesterday. I am halfway through So Not Meant to Be by Megan Quinn. I don't know what all I said yesterday, but basically this is going to be like a forced proximity, workplace romance, billionaire romance between Kelsey and JP. They are on a work trip together, living in close quarters, and that's pretty much all I have to say about it so far. Don't really remember, even though I literally just read it last night, but I'm gonna keep reading and hopefully refresh my memory. It is 9:28, so in 2 minutes we will start reading and probably end around the same time tonight, like 9:30 to 10-ish, which will actually be perfect because that is around when I go to bed. So let's go ahead and get started. We have a long day ahead of us. Okay, everyone, so I did just finish reading So Not Meant to Be, and this one wasn't bad. It's like your typical rom-com, so I'd say if you're definitely in the mood for just like a fun billionaire romance, this would be it. I do think though that the characters were just characters that I don't love. Kelsey, our female main character, was a little bit bubbly to me. I just find the like bubbly, super, what is it called when you like are romantic? She's a hopeless romantic and super bubbly, and I found that to be just a little bit annoying. I don't typically love characters like that who think that love should be like grand gestures and just all of that. And then we have JP. He's a playboy and he's so upset that Kelsey won't give him a fair chance. And to me, the way he would react to her like going on dates and stuff kind of felt like a toddler throwing a temper tantrum. So I didn't love his character either. I have seen the playboy role in other books turn out very well, but for this one it just didn't do it for me. But it still wasn't bad. I think I'm gonna settle on like a 3.5. I don't know originally what I gave the first book in the series, but I do think I liked the first one a little bit better. They are outlandish, like the meet cute in the very first one was crazy, not realistic. And the same for this one, where there are just some cheesy things that happen, but still wasn't bad. Exactly what I expected out of a little rom-com. And I think I would continue the series and just see how the third one goes, because I feel like the third one is everyone's favorite in the series. So yeah, that was that one. But we still have 9 hours and 20 minutes left. So I'm going to pick out my next book. I think I want to read a fantasy, especially like for the middle of the day. Like I'm awake, fully awake now, and I think my brain can process a fantasy. So let's pick one out. Okay, everyone, so as you saw, I decided to pick up Serpent and Dove. This is a YA fantasy about a witch and a witch hunter, which if you know, I loved Heartless Hunter, so when I heard that that was the premise of this, of course, I am interested. And I'm not gonna lie, my brain is comparing it a lot to Heartless Hunter, and it just does not compare, but I'm trying not to be biased here. We are following Lou and Reed. Lou is a witch in hiding. She kind of like lives in this theater attic basement situation thing. She steals stuff for her survival, and she ends up getting caught by Reed, who is in charge of, what are they called? It's like the church, because the church is in charge of hunting witches. And we're also learning about the past, about why the witches are being hunted and why they live separately from the rest of the world, and the priests hate them and everything. But besides that, Lou ends up almost getting caught, and in order to save face, she has to marry Reed. So they are in like a marriage of convenience. Now she is living at the church with all the other, do they even call them priests? What do they call them? I literally just read this. It's all these different types of people. Like there's the chasseur, constabulary, is that how you say that? And all, you know, just, it doesn't really matter. But anyways, it is like very high stakes in the fact that she's a witch and he's a witch hunter. But I will say the enemies to lovers is not really doing it for me. I don't feel as much tension between the two as I would like. Obviously they don't really get along that well, but like they're doing their best to make this work. And I don't want to see that. I want to see them at each other's throats, like hating each other. And that's just not happening. They're kind of just like getting along, even though they don't really agree with a lot of things. So it's not 100% doing it for me, but it's not bad. But of course, I am going to keep reading. We have 6 hours and 39 minutes left. I, for some reason, already feel like I've been reading for my entire life. Like right at the womb, just been reading. So it's going to be a long day. Okay, first off, let me just say, none of these books are hitting like I wanted them to. This might be a cursed video where everything is going to be in the 3-star range, because this was like a 3-star for me, okay? This book just didn't give me what I wanted. I didn't feel the angst or the tension. The way it ended, there was like a plot twist that was very easily guessable. I guessed it like right from the start, and it just wasn't everything that I wanted it to be. Was it bad? No. I had a good time. I read it so fast, flew through these pages, but it just wasn't what I wanted. So that is a little bit of a disappointment, and I don't really have any other thoughts, just that I wanted more. So there we have it. That's really all I have to say about this one. I think I would continue the series, but I'm not dying to continue it right away, which I think speaks volumes. Normally, if it's a 5-star, immediately I want to read the next book. So yeah, and maybe take what I say with a grain of salt, just because I am subconsciously, I'm comparing it to Heartless Hunter. I just can't help it. That one was so good. So this did not even compare in the slightest bit, and I know that's a little bit biased, and I'm sorry to this author because that is unfair, but I just couldn't get that book out of my brain. So, like I said, take what I say with a grain of salt when it comes to this one. You might absolutely love it, especially if you haven't read Heartless Hunter or you haven't read that one recently. Not me talking about a book that we haven't even read in this video at all, but still, that's that one. And we have literally 4 hours on the dot left, so I am going to pick up a small book. I already have it in my brain what I want to read, because after reading Serpent and Dove, that one takes place in like the historical timeline, so I want to read this one because I know I loved the first one. Let me go get it though so we can hold it and talk about it. So that book is Immortality by Dana Schwartz. This is the second and final book. It's a duology. The first one was Anatomy, and if you know, you know. I loved Anatomy. They're historical. The first book was about a girl who she is pretending to be a man so that she can go to school to be a surgeon. And she's doing that because it takes place in a time where women are not allowed to be doing surgery. So that's why she has to dress up as a boy. And she needs dead bodies to practice on. She meets Jack, who is I forget the exact word, but he's like a grave digger. So he would dig up dead bodies and sell them for money. So he sells them to her so that she can practice medicine on them and learn more about anatomy. And that book ended pretty much on a cliffhanger. So I am really interested to see how it goes so far in this one. It is like the most pure and wholesome romance. I will say it does go into a little bit of like gory topics when it talks about surgery and some of the things that she has to see with these dead bodies and stuff. And I'm intrigued because I know why this one is called Immortality, and I'm intrigued to see how much deeper we like dive into that. So I am excited. It's time. I've been putting it off for so long because I fear that it's not going to be as good as the first one, and I love the first one so much that I don't want it to end and me just feel like it gave us a whole lot of nothing, you know? So I'm going to read this one. We have 4 hours. The font is big. It's YA, super easy to read, and I'm excited. So we'll see. Maybe I can finish this in the 4 hours. Who knows? So first off, I just want to say that I am halfway through Immortality. We started off with 4 hours and now we have 2 hours left. This might end up being the perfect 24-hour readathon. If I finish this book within the main 2 hours, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's like perfect. I will end perfectly finishing all of these books, which is just, I don't think I've ever done that before. But anyway, let's talk about it. We're halfway through Immortality, and it's very hard to discuss this book without giving any spoilers away, especially from the first book and the way that one ended. But basically, Hazel is adjusting to a new life after what happened in the first book, and also she gets called to be the doctor for Princess Charlotte, who is the daughter of King George III, because she has an ailment that literally no doctor has been able to find, so she's trying to figure out what's wrong with her. And that's really honestly like all I can give away without spoiling anything, but I'm liking it so far. I'm not as deep into it as I was in the first book, because in the first book you were seeing a lot of a certain character who is not really in this one. I don't know though, we're just gonna have to see. I do fear that I was correct and it's not gonna hit quite the same as the first one, but so far I'm not hating it, so that is a good sign. Let's finish this up though. We have 2 hours left and it's 8 p.m. so stay in there strong. I literally have a paragraph left. Hold on. Okay, so obviously this was like the perfect readathon because I finished our last book a little bit after the 24 hours was up, and this was good. So as I said earlier, she's working for the king and she's trying to figure out how Charlotte is sick and how to fix this. While she is there, she also meets a group of people who are like-minded, but as it turns out, their morals aren't exactly the same as hers. So you've got like a dark academic group thing going on that she finds herself a part of. And then she's also in like a bit of a love triangle with one of the doctors that also works at the castle and another character. And she's also facing this moral dilemma. I cannot say anything without spoiling it, but basically she could do something that would be very beneficial for her, but she doesn't feel like it's quite right to do that. And she's a better woman than me, because I would have done that in a heartbeat. If you know, you know. But then at the end, she ends up having to do that anyways, so it's kind of just like you had this whole moral dilemma when you could have done that from the get-go and we could have avoided a whole lot of mess. But nonetheless, it was good. Was it as good as the first one? No, it wasn't. But I am glad to say that I'm at peace with the way that it wrapped up. Everyone kind of got their own happy ending and what they deserved, and I think it's a good story overall. It was still cute. It wasn't as heavy on the romance for me. Like, I didn't feel as engrossed in the romance as I was in the other book, especially because one of our characters doesn't show up until pretty late in the book. So that was that though. I am gonna give it 4 stars because I do really enjoy it and I like the way that this duology wrapped up, but like I said, wasn't as good as the first one. But that is it. Reread. Hold on, I'm gonna do the math and like we'll do a little wrap up. Give me a minute. Okay, so let's look at the stats here. Throughout this 24-hour readathon, I read 5 books, a good mix of genres, and, well, honestly, just romance and fantasy. This one has a little bit of a mystery. This one, I don't even know what happened. But anyways, stats. I read 5 books in 24 hours, and that means that I read a total of 2,112 pages, which means I read 88 pages an hour, which equals about 1.46 pages a minute. I feel like that makes sense. 1.46 pages a minute. Anyways, these are the 5 books that I read. I feel like we did have mostly 3 stars. We started off with Flock, which was kind of confusing throughout most of it, so yeah, I think I gave that like a 3 star. Then we read Lightlark, which was an okay fantasy. It just felt a little bit juvenile. Again, I think I gave it a 3 star. Then we read So Not Meant to Be, which was a cheesy rom-com, nothing out of this world. I think I gave like, what, 3.5 stars? Then we read Serpent and Dove, another 3 star. And then lastly we read Immortality, which I gave a 4 star, which I think honestly is a little bit biased just because I already loved this world and these characters and I wanted nothing but the best. So who knows if it's actually a true 4 star, but to me it is. So those were all the books that we read and I'm done. Finally. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought if you have read any of these books. Always welcome to suggestions. Give me some more, even though I don't need more books to add to my TBR, but still, give me some more suggestions. And yeah, that's it from me. I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!